Now, forget that.
You're still welcome.
Hello,
Hi, everybody.
and welcome.
Hi, everybody.
What happened? All right, we're starting, everybody. Take 3.
Go ahead.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special year-end metrics event where we are going to have to feature short lightning talks about the highlights of 2017.
Our mission is huge, to assemble and share all the information. This extraordinary living thing that is the Wikimedia movement.
So today's meeting is about celebrating the specific, showing examples of interesting work that individuals and groups have done to enrich our projects, our communities, and the world.
And so to begin with, our first presentation, have you guys heard of the butterfly effect? A butterfly flaps its wings and then has huge impact all around the world. Ananya Mandal is here.
In the first year, the data showing the first year WLP part 1 and the part 2 halfway, and the result is showing result is increasing actually. That's it. And this is the total number of images captures. The number of images are used in different project of Wikipedia, and number of quality and valued images, they are also increasing day by day. We are trying. This is the keyword behind the success. Next, the first one is teamwork. Team and task allocation to meet the goal. Actually, our team is comprises in 3 categories. One is resource persons like scientists, lepidopterists, experts. Then the group of photographers who are able to expert in macro photography, especially butterflies. And third, the Wikipedians who create the articles and give us the technical supports. And fieldwork specification for best result means the core team of photographers worked in the butterfly hotspots, affected level zonal butterfly photographers and enthusiasts, and make them turn them into Wikipedian. and mark the track. We are trying to build future contributor for the project, who shall go into contributing their picture and documentation of their concerned zone in Wikipedia even after the end of the project. That's it. Next. These are our biggest lessons, and for this reason we are we are running the project successfully. Next, please. That's it. These are some glimpse of different kind of butterfly species and subspecies found in West Bengal, India. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. That was incredible. So for the next one, sharing the sum total of all human knowledge also means we need to include all humans. There's a lot of work being done to improve the diversity of voices in our community and to empower all humans to join their voices to our projects. Let's hear about Wikimedia España's project with the Spanish National Library, Día de las Escritoras.
Hola, hello everybody. Can you hear me? Good. Okay. So I'm going to present our Día de las Escritoras project, which translates to Female Writers Day. If we go to slide 2, it is an editathon that takes place in the Spanish National Library and that we organize with the collaboration of 2 feminist organizations, Clásicas y Modernas and CDP. Día de las Escritoras is a bigger activity itself with different things and meetings happening to celebrate and to give visibility to female writers, their achievements, their legacy, and we take the opportunity to bring all this knowledge to Wikipedia. We have changed from a multi-site event happening in different parts of the country to one main event happening in Madrid this year. So we have had 2 editions so far, and we are counting. We hope to keep on doing it next year and the following ones. If we change to slide 3, some results that we've got from organizing Día de las Escritoras are the following. 72 new articles about female writers, 73 improved articles, engagement with 58 women participating in the activity. And we know this is not crazy numbers, but we really think it is important in terms of quality and in terms of what do we want to get and how diverse we want our community to become in the future. So this project is helping new women to join Wikimedia España, and it's also helping us to raise awareness in society about the legacy of women and the contributions of women to human knowledge. If we go to slide 4, what are the key success factors that we believe this project has? First of all, that we bring in powerful partnerships in the activity with the feminist organizations that I mentioned that are working on gender gap, and also the partnership with a major cultural and knowledge institution in our country, such as the Spanish National Library. The involvement of the library gives us great references and sources to create Wikipedia articles about women. We know that finding references about women is usually far more complicated than finding male-related references, and having the books and resources from the library is a really great help to create good encyclopedic articles and to make those articles written by new editors last in Wikipedia instead of being erased because they don't comply with our criteria. Also, the way we organize the day helps build a safe space where everyone can ask questions and test how they feel with Wikipedia and feel more trained and empowered to write in the encyclopedia. We think this also happens because it's a very relaxed and informal vibe that we create, so everyone feels comfortable. Because in the end, we are asking around 30 people every year to gather and spend a Saturday together with their computers working on Wikipedia. So it's important to make a good and fun environment to spend time together. And then, well, we have collaborations with institutions, partners, and other Wikipedians. We think this is also crucial to the success of the project. And finally, the fact that it is a very interesting topic. It's also getting a lot of attention from media, and that helps us raise awareness on the activity and the objectives that we have. And finally, if we go to slide 5, I also wanted to tell you why we do this and why we think these kind of activities are so important. And for that, we have to look at some figures. We only have around 15% of women editing Wikipedia in Spain, which obviously influences content. So only around 22% of biographies are dedicated to women in Spanish Wikipedia. Women represent 20% of our membership in Wikimedia España. Our staff is equal in terms of numbers, but we've only got 14% of women in our board, which relates to 1 woman out of 7 members. So this is obviously something that we would like to change, and we see that these kind of activities, such as Día de las Escritoras and building safer spaces for women to approach Wikipedia and the free knowledge movement, really helps to make us, and I include myself, feel that we can be part of this international movement and that we can be relevant part of history and also a relevant voice to share knowledge with others. So I hope you liked it and that you found it interesting. It was only 5 minutes, so I was very quick, but if you want to know more, you can contact me. Or if you would like to connect and work together to reduce gender gap, it would be a pleasure to join forces. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. That was fantastic. Next up, in 1969, the Children's Television Workshop was founded by a group of educators and hippies and do-gooders and geniuses who wanted to use television to help out young children in low-income families who didn't have access to kindergarten. The show that they created, Sesame Street, is now in production on its 49th season. And it uses cartoons and songs and stories and puppets to educate children about counting and everything that they need to get ready for school. This is a subject that's actually personally very close to my heart. I've spent a lot of years on Muppet Wiki, writing about Sesame Street and the Muppets on wiki pages. But Muppet Wiki is it's for fans, and it gets really deep and really obscure. It's not really for a general audience. And so I am delighted that Christine Meyer, aka user figure skating fan, has been working on Wikipedia to bring the story of this incredible TV show, make it accessible to the world. Christine, very happy to have you here today. And then you might be on mute, so we can't hear you.
Sorry, my apologies. I didn't mute myself. But I'm really, thank you, Danny. I'm really excited to meet you in this way because I'm a big fan of Muppet Wiki. You know, you guys can do stuff that we can't do on Wikipedia, and it's anytime I want to know about an episode of anything Muppet related. I apologize if you're not going to be able to see me today. I didn't realize that my office has got really good firewalls, so you're just going to have to listen to my voice and hear and watch my slides. So if you can show the first slide. I'm showing this quote by some fellow we probably all know about. And as you read it, I'd like to say that, like Danny, I'm also a big part. I'm also part of that first generation, and like Jimmy as well. And I think that, you know, when I was researching for the articles for Sesame Street, I realized that I was part of that first group, and it was very an emotional realization for me. So, and show the next slide, please. Yeah, I always say this is really true for me as growing up watching Sesame Street and the Muppets, and my history as a mom with children with significant disabilities and as a Wikipedia editor. This is the things that I've been able to accomplish in Wikipedia, and I'm really grateful for all the opportunities that I've had to do that, especially speaking to you about it today. Just last week, I was bragging to a couple of friends about my invitation to give this presentation, and they said, "Wait, what do you mean you edit for Wikipedia? Is that a thing? And you think it's fun? And you don't even get paid?" And when I explained, "No, it's a volunteer thing," they looked at me like I was crazy. But I suspect that many of you guys here get it like they don't. I mean, my husband doesn't even get my enjoyment of writing and contributing to these articles. The other time that I was around people that did get it was back in 2014 in the summer at the workshop facilitating training in Washington, D.C., led by somebody else you probably know about, Emily Temple Wood. And it was really cool and fun to be around those folks because they got it, like most people in my life don't. And there were some significant metrics from that weekend. For me, it was when the GA Cup was created. If you could show that slide next. I was actually emailing and messaging my co-creator, a teenager from Canada, about developing the competition that weekend. You can see our accomplishments here. We intend to conduct another competition in early 2018. And even though I'd rather edit articles because it's just much more fun, I've discovered that running the GA Cup is a way to more effectively contribute to Wikipedia. Been impacted over 1,000 articles through the GA Cup. I'll tell you a little story. At the end of that weekend, we were sitting around waiting for our transportation, and I was sharing about the vandalism that's common on some of the articles I edit. For example, the Wiggles. You should show that slide. The article about the singing touring Australian children's group. They have a featured article. Who had a significant impact on my children. I think that's probably a theme for me, is that's how I choose the articles I edit. And I told them that sometimes vandals go to the info box in the article and change the music genre from children's music to death metal children's music. I said, I don't even know if that's a thing, right? So my new friends went to YouTube to check it out, and sure enough found that it was. And then they played videos and giggled over them. By that time, my ride had arrived, and leaving them in the wake of my destruction, I had to leave for the airport. That was so much fun. So I'm proud to be part of this movement, even in a small way. I wish I could do more. That way, more people will look at me like I'm nuts, right? But I don't care because I know something that you all know. Gee, I'm quoting myself twice in the presentation. How arrogant is that, right? But it's true. If you want to change the world, edit for Wikipedia. And, for example, how many of them can say that 1 million people read something they significantly contributed to, which is what happened the week after Maya Angelou died. I can. It makes me very proud that I was responsible for ensuring that there was high-quality, accurate information about her when the world, as it does when someone passes away, turned to Wikipedia. So thank you for the opportunities to do that and for allowing me to participate in this meeting. Thank you.
I heard now? There we go. Thank you, Christine. A little delay due to microphone issues, but thank you very much. And I think I'd love to see more quotes from you. I think that was really good. So next time. So if you've been, around the Wikimedia for a while, you've probably heard about Wiki Loves Monuments. It's one of Wikimedia's largest community projects. Since 2010, Wiki Loves Monuments has encouraged photographers to document the important cultural heritage sites in dozens of countries on every continent, including Antarctica. Today, we're going to hear from some of the organizers about their historic work.
Hi, everyone, with my volunteer hat on. Thank you so much for having us and the invitation. So here in the office at Wikimedia Foundation, accompanying me, Lily of the West from Wiki Loves Monuments International team is also Lodewijk, who's sitting this side of the room, and also Mohammed in the back of the room. If you want to go at the end of the talk and have a chat with them, please do it. I know Steven is watching remotely and probably other people from the international team. Thanks for having us. So today I'm going to talk with you about Wiki Loves Monuments. Remember our vision? We started with a world where every single human being can freely share in the sum of all knowledge. And then in Wiki Loves Monuments, we took that and we created a focus for it. We decided to focus on built cultural heritage, or what we call monuments. And we decided to focus on photos. We decided to focus on a way for communicating with people, communicating knowledge with people from across the world in ways that are language independent. We decided to empower people to go and share their monuments with us the way they see them, the way they like to see them, in quiet or among others. The old and new monuments. So I'm going to be talking about Wiki Loves Monuments, which is an annual global federated low barrier photo competition with 3 goals, at least in the international level. We are interested in freely documenting and raising awareness about the world's built cultural heritage. We increase contributions to Wikimedia projects, and we also bolster Wikimedia communities. All these 3 are important for us. We focus on the photo competition, but we want to do all 3. Let's look at an example of our documenting and raising awareness. We empower people to go and take photos. Empower or encourage people to go take photos of monuments before they are destructed. This is the Great Mosque of Aleppo, the minaret there, which is not there anymore, but the photo has been captured as part of Wiki Loves Monuments and shared through Wikipedia with the world. We increase contributions to Wikimedia. For those of you who like data, when you look at the number of uploads in Wikimedia comments, you see the big spikes around here on the top right side, which is the most recent years. Those are Wiki Loves Monuments. There are some other spikes that you see in different years, usually around April and May, and those are Wiki Loves Earth. You also look at the total activities, how they change at the months that you have Wiki Loves Monuments or Wiki Loves Earth. And what you see is that the total number of contributions, the edits, and the distribution of edits changes, and you see these big spikes. We make a change in Wikimedia projects. We also bolster local communities, and this is really an important part of what we do. Many of communities come together, maybe when they're small, and then they kind of gather around Wiki Loves Monuments, and they make that their project, and they kind of build on top of that. You see a photo of this photo walk in Tunisia. Tunisia is one of the kind of the prime examples where the community existed, but then through Wiki Loves Monuments, they came together and they became stronger. What have we achieved so far? So since 2010, we have managed to gather a global free database of more than 1.4 million monuments. This is a free database available to anyone to use. You have the name of the monuments, photos associated with many of them, metadata associated with many of them, photos from different angles of the monuments. And this is an amazing kind of thing that we don't talk about so much, but it's an amazing achievement for this project. We have received more than 1.9 million photo submissions. In fact, next year we're going to celebrate the 2 million submission. We're waiting for that. We have brought 53,000 new Wikimedia contributors. And by the way, when I say we, of course, this is to the credit of all the local teams that I'm going to talk about very shortly. And we have managed to gather a global community who is passionate about world heritage and does amazing things about it. We have, more importantly, found a formula that works. We have repeated this over and over since 2010, and this just works. We can bring people together, and they can make contributions and make Wikipedia better. So let's look at some of the numbers from 2017. We welcomed more than 50 countries as part of this year's Wiki Loves Monuments. This means more than 50 countries have volunteers who have managed to organize a contest in their country. We welcomed 5 new countries: Australia, Croatia, Finland, Saudi Arabia, and Uganda. We have received 246,000 entries. These are uploads, photos that are submitted, 10,000 participants, 75% newcomers. And this is a repeated pattern. We have around between 73 to 80% newcomers every year across the different countries that participate. So how does this work? And I go over this quickly just for you to appreciate kind of the complexity of the system that we work in. We have the local organizers, we have the participants, we have the national and regional entities that work with these local organizers. We have a relatively small international team compared to the size of the rest of the activities. And then we have the international entities. And what happens is that there's a complex relation between all of these things. All these entities have a lot of interactions with each other. It's a highly distributed system which relies on the fact that it's federated. We work with platforms, Wikipedia, Wikimedia Commons, and Wikidata. We deal with law and policy. We need to deal with situations of antiquity laws, freedom of panorama, making sure that the monument lists are publicly available under free licenses. We work with networks and partners, and we encourage our local organizers to do that. We also develop software, and I think this is an aspect that has been picking up recently in the past couple of years. We have developed with the help of other volunteers 2 major lines of software. One of them is Montage, that is being used in other photo competitions, other WikiLoves photo competitions around the movement, but also starting to be picked up outside of the movement as a jury tool where people can basically process the photos that are being submitted. We have 260,000 photos submitted. There needs to be an easy way, a user-friendly way for processing these photos. And then there's also Monumental. This is your international team. This was thanks to Wikimedia Foundation. We went to Como in Italy last year, and we took a photo. Eric Zarte couldn't join us back then, but then we also have 2 new editions since then. So I added them on top of those. Thank you so much for all the support that many of you have provided. The communications team has been working with us around the clock in the past few days. Mohammed has not slept for the past 35 hours, so let's find a place for him to sleep after this. But seriously, research through Eric Zarte, legal team, designers. There are many departments within the foundation who work with closely, and grants, obviously. How did I miss that? With Wiki Loves Monuments. And thank you for all the support, and we're looking forward to the questions.
All right, there you go. So thank you very much, Leila. So far we've heard about butterflies and monuments and Sesame Street and women writers, and you are probably asking yourself what else in the world is left. Andy Mabbitt is actually going to take us off the surface of the planet Earth to tell us about Wikipedia in space. Ground control to Andy. Can you hear me?
Hello, I can. Thank
Earth
you.
Andy.
And,
all right, you're on.
I'm on. Okay. Hello, everybody from Birmingham in England. I'm a big fan of photography on Wikipedia. I'm a photographer myself, and I love pictures of butterflies and monuments and lots of other things as well, including people. Who have a visual disability, or people who just turn images off on their browser for one reason or another. And at a Wikimedia Glam meetup a few years ago, about 5 years ago now, I was discussing with some other Wikimedians getting more sound onto Wikipedia, and we were talking about sounds of steam engines and waterfalls and kitchen equipment and things like that. And I said, well, we should have the sounds of people's voices too. We should know what the subjects of our Wikipedia articles sound like and how they pronounce their own name, because the way somebody pronounces their name is the definitive canonical pronunciation of that name. Nobody can tell them that they're not saying it correctly if it's their own name. And so I very quickly wrote a blog post and asked a few of my friends to record their voices for the Wikipedia articles about them, which some of them kindly did. And it took off from there, took off very quickly, and we got quite a lot of interest in the early days. And I'd like to play one of those recordings for you now, if we could please, which is the recording of Brian Schmidt, who I met in Australia a couple of years ago. So I'll just pause while we have that audio file.
Hello, my name is Brian Schmidt. I'm an astronomer who was born in Missoula, Montana in 1967, and I was part of a team who discovered that the universe is accelerating in its expansion.
So there you have a sound file that's about 10 seconds long. That's the basic script that we ask people to use. It starts with Brian saying hello, so it makes it seem nice and warm and friendly. Then he tells you his name, and then he tells you what he's known for. So we know a little bit more about him, but also you can tell you're listening to the right Brian Schmidt, the one who is an astronomer, and not the Brian Schmidt who's a drummer in a pop band or a football player or whatever the other Brian Schmidts might be. And that's not a very long thing to ask somebody to do. If they're a busy, famous person, they can spare the time to do that. Whereas if you ask them to make a video and they've got to go to the studio and have their hair done, it's a much bigger request. So we've asked lots of people to do that, and we've got recordings of all sorts of different people from all around the world. We have an astronaut who walked on the moon, although his recording was made on the ground in South Africa. We have singers and cricketers and all sorts of people. What Brian Schmidt doesn't tell you in his recording is actually a Nobel Prize winner. And we have some fairly ordinary people who just happen to have a Wikipedia article because they're known for one thing or another that they do as part of their day job. So that's the Wikipedia Voice Introduction project, and once we've made those sound recordings, the files go on Commons, but we also link to them from Wikidata and from Wikipedia articles. In fact, we put a little audio player into the info box on Wikipedia articles so that you can hear what the person's voice sound. And for some time I've been thinking we need to do something really special with this to get a little bit more attention. And I had the idea a while ago when I saw some beautiful images that had been uploaded from the European Space Agency of asking their media person, who is a Wikimedian himself and uploads the images directly to Commons, if he would help me to get an astronaut to make a recording on the International Space Station. And I'm very pleased to say that a couple of weeks ago we uploaded 2 recordings, one in English and one in Italian, by the Italian astronaut Paolo Nespoli. So let's hear his sound file now.
Hello, my name is Paolo Nespoli. I am a European Space Agency astronaut born in Milan, Italy. My first space flight was at the end of 2007 aboard the American Space Shuttle Discovery for the mission STS-120, one of the missions aimed at the construction of the International Space Station. In 2010-11, I flew a second time to the space station, this time with the Russian spacecraft Soyuz for the Expedition 26-27. Then, in July 2017, I flew to space again and again with the Russian Soyuz spacecraft to the International Space Station, this time for the Expedition 52-53. Hello from space.
So there you have the very first content that was made specifically for Wikimedia projects off the planet Earth, in other words, in space. And I'm really pleased to have achieved that milestone. Paolo obviously went an extra mile. In fact, he goes extra thousands of miles every day on the space station, from which, incidentally, he returned yesterday. But he said a little bit more than the basic script. But even if people just do the basic 10-second recordings that we heard Brian Schmidt do, it opens up a whole new dimension to Wikipedia. It enables people to feel familiar with the subjects of articles, to know how they pronounce their names. If they're going to meet meet them, it helps them to pronounce those names correctly. Or maybe they're a radio presenter and they're going to say the person's name on a radio station and they want to check the pronunciation. So that's actually a very good, important piece of knowledge to share, as well as making things seem more warm and interesting. And what I want to ask people to do is to make recordings themselves of the people they know or the people they meet in their work or their Wikipedia activities or whatever, who have Wikipedia articles or who have an item on Wikidata. So if you have a famous professor at your college, or you have a cousin who's a footballer or a television star, or whatever it might be, whip out your mobile phone or get them to record themselves on their laptop and upload the recording to Wikimedia Commons. The slide you can see at the moment has the URL of the project page on Commons, and I'm easily findable on Wikimedia Projects or on Twitter. So that's the Wikipedia Voice Introduction Project. Hello from space.
Awesome. Yes, it works now. Thank you very much, Andy. And I'm going to start all my sentences now with hello, because apparently that makes you, sound friendly. So hello. Well, we've got one more presentation today, and we had to put that one last because, well, you'll see why we didn't want anybody to have to follow this last talk. Our very own Zach McCoon is going to show us the results of the Wikimedia Foundation's partnership with communities in Nigeria and Iraq. Zach, you're up.
Thanks, Moriel. Hi, everyone. So I'm very excited to be here because I want to tell you the story of some work we've done in Nigeria. Really, this is a story of a community and a comedian. So in February 2016, the New Readers team began to explore places around the world where internet use was growing, but Wikipedia use remained really low. We identified a series of countries where things seemed to be out of sorts. Here's the internet exploding, here's people getting online, they're using mobile phones, but Wikipedia is not really a part of their everyday life. And we started to research why that might be and how we could do more to support our communities in those locations and overall expand participation in our projects. Nigeria was one of the countries that we focused on because, y'all, Nigeria is amazing. It's 190 million people, 60% of which are school-aged. Internet access is growing constantly there. They make more movies than any country except India. And they're pretty fun movies too, I will tell you. But as we did our research in that area, we discovered that just 27% of internet users had heard of Wikipedia. That's internet users. That's not the general population. So just over 1 in 4 people were like, I know what Wikipedia is. And then we discovered that people did not know what Wikipedia was, even when they said they did. So this was a quote that came out of our on-the-ground research in Lagos, where somebody told us that Wikipedia is a great social network, and it's a great way to connect to friends around the world, especially in the US. Fortunately, if you're going to try to figure out how to explain Wikipedia to Nigerians, you can ask people who do it all the time. This is our community in Nigeria. We have Sam, Shola, Alimi, Isaac. We have dozens of active Wikimedians in Lagos and Abuja and across Nigeria, and it's growing all the time because they're a very active community. And we went to them and said, how could we do better? How could we do more? And they said, well, we explain Wikipedia all the time, and we have some ideas for some agencies that we could talk to about making a video to push to raise awareness here and explain what we do one-on-one to people at scale. And they thought, let's go further than that. Let's make it fun. Let's make it Nigerian. We know this great comedian. She's very popular on YouTube. Her name's Emanuela, and she's 7 years old. And let's give it to her to explain Wikipedia and why it matters. So without further ado, this is the video that Emanuela produced for our communities in Nigeria and for the Wikimedia Foundation to try to promote Wikipedia. Brendan, can we play this?
For purposes of today's lecture, we'll be looking at the word cognitive inertia. Can anyone define cognitive inertia?
I know it. Cognitive inertia is the tendency for belief to endure what has been formed.
Wow. Who is that kid?
She's my kid sister, sir. I'm sorry, sir. She's just waiting for me to finish so that me and her can come out and go to the house so that we can go and chop.
She is correct. She's a smart kid.
Yes, she's a very, very smart kid. You are very, very smart in our family.
So, who can give me an example of cognitive inertia?
I know it. Example of cognitive inertia is when some people are say carry big books to school without knowing that everything they need these days is inside this small phone.
Great answer. Come in. You. Go behind. Quiet class. Wow, that is great. I think that will be all for this class.
How did you know all the answers?
It's me now. It's me that used to do her assignment for her.
You used to do my assignment for me? Don't mind him. I use Wikipedia to know all the answers.
One day, this Wikipedia, how can I buy it?
It's not Wikipedia, it's Wikipedia.
Is it magic?
How can I get it, my dear?
Calm down, everyone. Just go to www.wikipedia.org on your browser. The answers are already there. Just type in your questions and you will see the answers. It's very simple and it's free of charge.
So you mean it's this small girl that should be telling big auntie like me about Auntie,
big auntie. Big auntie that cannot pronounce Wikipedia. Is that one big auntie?
All the words knowledge in one place for free. Wikipedia.org.
So you might be thinking, that's kind of weird for a video. I don't know if I would watch that video. But we have to remember, this isn't necessarily for you. This is really for our Nigerian communities and for Nigerian internet users. And let me tell you, among those people, it was a big deal. It had 9.4 million views, and it earned 1 million of those views in the first 24 hours alone. It also earned about 250,000 responses. That's comments, likes, people sharing it, telling stories about it, responding to it, saying how they use Wikipedia, saying the things they want on Wikipedia. The response was so great on social media that Aubrey Johnson basically had to stop everything else she was doing and answer questions or delete comments on this post alone during that time. So that was fantastic. And the other thing is that we produced 2 videos. We produced a second video for an older audience with our Nigerian community as well. And that video did well, just as well, really. I mean, but the 9.4 million views were super surprising. And of that, only about 3 million were paid for. So people often ask, like, well, did you promote this? The answer is yes, but actually, like, we couldn't promote it as effectively as people could share it. There's a name for that. It's called going viral. So this video went viral, and we couldn't believe it. That ends up driving a lot of changes to our overall numbers. So we saw more traffic to the portal from Nigeria, and we saw an incredible change in our app installs over the same time period. these are really secondary metrics too, because this wasn't the point. We didn't end with go download the app and make sure you use it every day. We were telling people this is what Wikipedia is, check it out on your browser. So these are just fantastic secondary numbers. We also saw an incredible range of response among Nigerian press, including in The Guardian, the largest newspaper there, and on Acacia Nigeria, which is the most popular blog in Nigeria. Overall, what people said was, look, here's a story about Wikipedia with, from, by Nigerians. And that made it all the more meaningful to them. But ultimately, I think what the New Readers team was so excited about was that our community felt strengthened and supported. So when we went back to the people who had reviewed it, Sam, Isaac, Coyote, a great group of people who had led this idea, they told us that because of this video, they were having new types of conversations with people who weren't previously paying attention to Wikipedia or Wikimedia projects. They wanted to know what this was all about. They wanted to know how they could get involved. And I think ultimately that's what we really see as exciting about New Readers, is that when we go reach new readers, they become new advocates and hopefully new editors and contributors and supporters. So that's really what we're excited about. And that's why I'm just so excited that the Nigerian community was able to produce this with us. So thanks to them. And thank you for having us up here today.
Right, thank you so much, Zach. We are now, and thanks to all of our fantastic presenters, we are going to have questions and answers if folks have questions about any of the presentations.
Hello. Oh, okay. Question about the voice recordings. With all the strict rules about making sure things are authentic and real, and how do we go about making sure that I don't just go on and say I'm Abraham Lincoln and da 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 hello? You know, what is being done to ensure that the voices and the recordings are really of the folks that they say they are?
That's an interesting question. I think the first thing is assume good faith. Can you hear me?
For some reason, your voice isn't coming through, Andy. Sorry.
I'm not muted. Can you hear me now?
Oh.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. Okay, thank you. A good question. And I think the first part of the answer is that we assume good faith. But secondly, the same issue applies to photographs. You would rely on somebody who knows the subject saying, hang on a minute, that's not who it's pretending to be. Although having said that, a lot of the recordings have been supplied either with permission through OTRS, so they're verified that way, or the Wikimedian who has made the recording, whether it's me or one of the other volunteers who's involved in the project, has actually met the subject and they're a person in good standing on Wikimedia, so we can trust them to have uploaded something that's valid.
All right, are there other questions?
I don't have a question, I just have a comment around Wiki Loves Monuments. Layla gives an awesome introduction to the project, but from the community resources side, I wanted to share two little stories about kind of impact that you may not see. She did show the story, or share the photo of the minaret in Aleppo that had been destroyed. But I remember after the earthquakes in Nepal, we reached out to that community and they had said that thank God they had done Wiki Loves Monuments for the 2 years before them and documented most of the monuments around Kathmandu and the historic cities around there, and that they were going to go out despite the destruction and everything that happened to them personally and continue to document, and they went out that next week and continued to document monuments. So I've heard that story working in grants the last 4 years in the Philippines after the typhoons and before the typhoons, in places where there have been other natural disasters. So a big shout out to that program. Also, Wiki Loves Monuments is one of the main ways that we've seen new people come into organizing projects as user groups. in areas of the world where people haven't been organizing offline, and it oftentimes are the first grants that they ask for. So, you know, we see new countries coming in, like you said, Saudi Arabia, Uganda, they come through the grants program. We're like, wow, we didn't know there were people there working on Wikimedia projects, and they're coming in asking for support for Wiki Loves Monuments. And so it's a really low barrier, easy way to get involved, and has inspired other projects like Wiki Loves Earth and Wiki Loves Africa. And a lot of the new user groups that we're seeing in Africa have come through the grants program through support through Wiki Loves Africa, which is the region or the continent-wide photo contest there that was inspired by Wiki Loves Monuments. So a big shout out to Wiki Loves Monuments and the impact that it's had, you know, beyond just that one contest. So thank you.
Hey, I have a question about Wiki Loves Monuments. So first, I think it's can't be emphasized enough how amazing the size of the impact is, right? And that's been persisted for 7 years now, right? We get so much engagement. And by the way, Eric Sachte has a stats post up on his website, infodisiac.com, where you can see these spiky graphs. My question is about retention, and it's been a discussion topic in recent years too. So basically, every year we have this really huge number of, I think mostly also the new users coming in, participating, and I think so it's any question, can we get these people to keep contributing maybe in other ways, uploading non-monument photos, that kind of thing. And again, it's very spiky, the graph, right? It goes up really high, but then also drops down basically to the same level. I'm just wondering if there's any work or thoughts in that direction recently.
Yeah, great question, and I'd be happy to share a few thoughts on this. One is that yes, it's a spike, and the retention is not very high. So we are talking about the retention around 10 to 12%. There are reasons for that, and we know that. So two topics related to this. One is that, in general, I personally am fine with people engaging once or twice or three times in a period of a month and going back and not contributing again if this is a repeatable process, right? So if we can come back people, let's say in a year from now, and then have them activate their accounts again and contribute, or they just in their lifetime, they contribute 10 items to Wikipedia or to Wikimedia projects. There are billions of people in the world, and if they all do a few of those, we will be in a really good place. But then the other thing, I mean, there's also a natural question that once we bring people in, there is a great opportunity to keep people in. And I want to emphasize that for keeping people in, we need a system which is user-friendly, that can communicate with these people, that can keep them engaged. You need, at the current way the things are set up, there is a ton of manual work which is happening across Wiki Loves Monuments. And we cannot expect communities of, you know, literally 2 or 3 people in a country who are running Wiki Loves Monuments, Wiki Loves Earth, all the other projects that are happening, to be able to kind of maintain. So I do think we have a great opportunity for retention, but I do think that our infrastructure will need to support it. And this is not something that Wiki Loves Monument, at least in the short term, can do alone. Like, we are doing development and software, but we need design help, we need software development help, we need continuous help to be able to get to the point of keeping people and engaging them over time.
All right. Thank you, Layla. Does anybody else have questions for our presenters? I will give everyone up. All right. Well, thank you all very much. There's one more thing that we are going to be doing today. What's that? Oh, I give it to Brendan. Up there. Click through. Next slide. Yeah. Okay. Great. Yes. So we are doing Wiki Love, hooray! Which is a time when people can share their love for other folks who are on staff or volunteers or people in the movement. Just to get everybody started, I figured I'd kind of warm things up. I would like to give Wiki Love to Muriel, just for standing here next to me right now.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's great. Do you have any?
Yeah, so I'd like to give Wiki Love to Huh.
Really?
Actually, I don't know.
There's not anybody.
I can't.
It doesn't. Nothing.
I can't manage to. I don't know. You know what? Maybe we'll open it up.
Yeah.
to
Okay. Yeah. Let's do that.
Everybody else.
Anybody wants to share some wiki love?
Go for it.
I want to share wiki love to Doreen and Karen and everyone who's working to get everyone here for all hands. So this is kind of like a proactive wiki love, because like that must just be really tough to do at this time of year. So thanks for doing it.
Hello. Hi. So yeah, that was one of my wiki loves. It's okay. I wanted to give a wiki love, very personal one, because I was on maternity leave this year, and there were some amazing folks that backed me up, and I'm so thankful. So I got a list because it's a lot of people. So special love for Michael Beatty, Joseph Sadden, Caitlin Cogdill, David Strine, Jessica Robel, Caitlin Virtue, and Sandra Hust. It took that many people to back me up. But they were amazing, and I think you guys are like the best team I could ever ask for. So thank you so much for being there for me, for everyone else when we needed it.
So thank God she's back right now. These people get to do their jobs again. I also, on the fundraising note, I wanted to send wiki love to Sam Patton for relentlessly making fun of his own face to encourage us all to contribute to fundraising banners. And I haven't clicked the links yet, but if you look at them all today, you will see links to 12 different facepile banners that features all of your beautiful faces. And I have another one, but I'll think of it later.
Hi, I'm Ellie, and I'm all things Wikimania around here, and especially this year I want to do a shout out to the Canadian chapter, the team that on very short notice really jumped in, came through for us big time, and their small chapter, and also Guillaume, Deror, and Phoebe as the co-chairs of Wikimania, which was, I think, one of my more successful Wikimanias. And thank you for everybody else who helped me on the team and the foundation as a whole.
I remembered. I also want to give some wiki love to Elena Goli for running our benefits process this year and being extremely helpful, running daily help sessions, running a presentation that she recorded, and just being Elena and being awesome.
Hello. I thanked people like this a few months ago at another metric, sorry. But everybody who translated elements of our training modules, the support and safety training modules, massive help for us to help those be accessible to more people. So they are now most of the way in Hebrew and Hindi and Arabic and all these languages that we've kind of struggled with in the past. So it's really good to have those. It's like 585 messages. It's a lot of stuff to translate. So it's really useful that that's been done. So yeah, thanks a lot.
Hi, this is Sam from the comms team. I just wanted to give some wiki love to our amazing community presenters at this meeting and over metrics meetings throughout this year. You really show us how global our movement is and all of the incredible different kinds of work that go into making our mission possible. So thank you so much for joining us. I know for some of you it's very late or a strange time of day, and we really appreciate it, and thank you so much.
Yay.
It's Dario from Wikimedia Research. I want to give a big shout out to the analytics team. Analytics has just silently released last night the alpha version of Wikistats 2. And it's something that's been in the making for years, and it's now a fantastic beautiful, navigable platform with all data you can think about related to readers, editors, content growth, all open licensed, available as interactive graphs as well as open data via open APIs. And it's been building on top of the work of Eric Zakte, and it's just beautiful, and the team has been working really hard. So go and check it out. Thank you for all the effort you put into this.
This is Alex again. I want to thank Guillaume for your participation and your role in the strategy process. I'm not sure you knew probably what it was going to take when you signed up for it. Or if you would do that again, but I had a lot more trust in the process knowing you were there. So thank you. And Sam, I wanted to echo what you said. Thank you for the presenters. It's really hard to present in a language that's not your own, and it brings a lot of reality to the work that we do. And a special to Ananya from Wiki Loves Butterflies, who writes the most incredible grant reports. You should read them.
All right, any more love to share? All right, well, thank you all very, very much for coming to the year-end metrics meeting. And I'm pretty sure we're going to still be here, so we'll see you in January as well.
Happy holidays, and to a new 2018 that's starting.
Thanks so much.